Hello and welcome students to MechPro classes, my official YouTube channel. Myself Piraj Majumdar, Assistant Professor of Mechanical Engineering Department, GKCM, that is Greater Kolkata College of Engineering and Management under JIS Group. Welcome you to our new session of Advanced Welding Technology, where we will be uploading all the lecture series according to MacOut syllabus day by day. So keep in touch with us for getting daily updates. You can also contact me through 9433465217, that is my personal phone number, or even you can email me at pirasar@gmail.com. You can also connect me through social networking, that is Facebook page, which is known as MechPro Classes. So let us start today's online session. Came to the concluding section of this particular module 2, where we will be having discussions on continuing our discussions on solid state welding process. Previously we have discussed this pressure welding and friction welding process. For today we will be having discussion on this diffusion welding as well as this resistance welding process. So let us start today's online session. So today, in continuation with this solid state welding process, we have already discussed the forge welding under the pressure welding process, and also discussed the friction welding as well as the friction stir welding as well. And today we have got another type of this solid state welding process, where we will be having a discussion on this diffusion welding process. So diffusion welding is another solid state welding process which produces coalescence of the fairing surface by the application of pressure and elevated temperatures as well. The process does not involve microscopic deformation, melting or relative motion of the parts. Filler metal may or may not be used as well. Now this may be in the form of electroplated surfaces. The process is used for joining refractory metals at temperatures that do not affect their metallurgical properties. Heating is usually accomplished by induction, resistance or furnace. Atmosphere and vacuum furnaces are used, and for most refractory metals a protective inert atmosphere is much more desirable. Now successful welds have been made on refractory metals at temperatures slightly over half the normal melting temperature of the metal. To accomplish this type of joining, extremely close tolerance joint preparation is required, and vacuum or inert atmosphere is very much used. The process is quite extensively used for joining dissimilar metals. Okay, this process is considered diffusion brazing, when a layer of filler material is placed between the fairing surface of the parts being joined. These processes are used primarily by the aircraft and aerospace industries as well. Okay, so it is also sometimes known as this diffusion welding as the bonding, diffusion bonding actually. So it is a process of joining of two parts purely by the diffusion mainly. So the diffusion can be achieved by keeping the two pieces in intimate contact under pressure. The pressure, I must write it for you, the pressure should be in the range of 35 to 70 MPa. So that is the pressure range for this diffusion welding. Okay, because of the large contact areas used, that's why the pressure is somewhat huge. The diffusion being a rate process can be accelerated by the use of heat, though it is not that much essential as well. Now by the application of heat, the bonding time can be reduced from hours to minutes as well. Okay, so you can apply heat if you don't have much more time. Now the pressure should be moderate so that no plastic deformation occurs, but a complete intimate contact is maintained. The temperature used are well below the melting points of the metals being joined. A filler metal is generally used and kept in between the two plates to be joined. The filler metal generally aids in the reduction of the operating temperature and the pressure, as well as permit the use of normal atmosphere around the joint instead of the expensive vacuum. Now there are two types of pressures applied in diffusion welding. In one method, the plates are kept together in contact inside a chamber, and the plates are heated through this normal electric resistance. And what happens during heating, inert gas is pumped into the chamber to provide uniform pressure on the plates being joined. So this method is normally used for joining non-ferrous materials, since the temperature and pressures required are relatively smaller. And in the this no you know this during applying pressure, or when you are applying uniform pressure for the metals to be joined, the plates in contact are kept in vacuum chamber, and the force is applied mechanically by means of dead weights or through a press. Now, since the pressure that can be applied is high, this method is suitable for welding ferrous materials. So one more thing you have to keep in mind, that as because the pressure is of 35 to 70 MPa, that is much more higher, so pressure is higher, that's why it is mainly suitable for iron products, that is the ferrous materials. Okay, now when a filler metal is used, it is expected that the temperature required for bonding is reduced by the formation of a eutectic alloy actually. Thus the filler metal actually diffuses into the two metal plates and forms a eutectic joint. The filler metal thickness may be of the order of 5 to 25 microns. Now diffusion welding can be used for joining metals to metals, as well as metals to non-metals as well. Okay. Now because of the diffusion being responsible for the joint, metallurgically the joint would be sound with no likely defects. That's why diffusion welding is the classy one, where the metallurgically it is a very sound one and likely to have zero defects. That's why diffusion welding is known for its zero defects, near about zero defects. I cannot guarantee you with zero defects, but you can say near to zero defects. That's why it is so much popular among the solid state welding processes. Now the strength is also good, and the weld is very neat, requiring no further processing on the joint. Now because of the joint covering a large area, the process is very useful for making laminates of the exotic materials. That was the thing. And diffusing weld is somewhat a very expensive one, and therefore can only be justified for closer tolerance work for or for this more expensive materials actually. So that's where the limitations, you can say, for a diffusion welding process. Okay, so in a gist I can tell you that it is a solid state welding process that produces joining of the faying surfaces or coalescence of the faying surfaces by the application of pressure at a much elevated temperature. As you can see the picture over here, it is connected, this A and B is connected to the power supply. There is a electrical resistance actually for heating. So the Again, the pressure is also, this mechanical force is also applied, which is ranging from 35 to 70 MPa actually. And the process does not involve any microscopic deformation or relative motion of the workpieces, and solid filler metal may or may not be inserted between the faying surfaces. So that is the diffusion method for you. Now discussing about some potential problems in case of diffusion welding of dissimilar metals, we have got this an intermetallic phase or a brittle intermetallic compound may form at the weld interface as well. Selection of an appropriate filler metal can usually prevent such problems, and joint designs can also help, So now low melting phases may form. Sometimes this effect is beneficial also, and porosity may form due to this unequal rates of metal transfer by diffusion in the region actually adjacent to the weld. Kirkindle porosity effect is very much this known to this, associated with this diffusion welding process. Proper welding conditions or the use of and appropriate this filler metal or both may prevent this type of problem as well. Okay, so that was some of the potential problems mainly associated with this diffusion welding of dissimilar metals as well. So that was the picture I was telling in the previous slide. So these are the workpieces to be joined, A and B. They are connected to the electrical resistance for heating. Mechanical forces are being applied from upper as well as lower side with a pressure range of 35 to 70 MPa, and eventually with the application of this resistance heating, the workpieces are being joined by the process of diffusion. Now, industrial application of diffusion is a case hardening. I have given this to you that sliding and rotating parts need to have hard surfaces where the diffusion method actually comes into the picture, and these parts are usually machined with low carbon steel, as they are very much easy to machine, as you know, and their surface is then hardened by carburizing. Steel parts are placed at elevated temperatures around 927 degrees Celsius in an atmosphere of a hydrocarbon gas such as the methane, you can say, or take an example. So carbon diffuses into iron surface mainly in diffusion process and fills the interstitial space to make it much even harder. So that was some of the well-known applications of diffusion welding process. There is a surface hardening, a carburizing as well. Okay. Now it is also used in titanium welding for aerospace vehicles, and it is also applicable to the diffusion welding of nickel alloys, include Inconel 600, ROT, Udimate 700, and Rene 41. And it is also very much useful in space shuttle design to have 28 diffusion welding components. Again, it is also used for dissimilar metal diffusion welding applications, which include copper to titanium, copper to aluminum, copper to CB1% zirconium, and there are also other materials also. Brittle intermetallic compound formation must be controlled in these applications as well. So I have given you that thing already. Now let us move on to another much known solid state welding process, which is known as the resistance welding, and this process is very much widely accepted by most of the industries, where resistance welding is a very versatile one and it is being widely used. So resistance welding is also this type of pressure welding. Actually pressure is applied and electrical resistance is also applied over here. Okay, so it is somewhat, you can say, similar to this some kind of this diffusion welding as well, but it has got some different aspects to be learned, So first of all, we will start with this resistance welding. This welding process covered so far are fusion welding process where only heat is applied in the joint, but in this contrast, resistance welding process is a fusion welding process where both heat and pressure are applied on the joint, but no filler metal or flux is added. So you have to keep in mind that in this solid state processes we are not going to use the filler metal, and in this particular this resistance, no filler, no flux. That is the main thing. Now the heat necessary for the melting of the joint is obtained by the heating effect of the electrical resistance of the joint, and hence the name resistance welding. So this is the, this one, this is the place where the melting of the joint is obtained by the heating effect of the electrical resistance. That's why it is known as resistance welding. Okay, now one more thing is very important. In resistance welding we are using very low voltage, around 1 volt, but current 15,000 ampere. So that is the most important thing you have to remember in connection with this resistance welding. Okay, and the time is very short. This current is passed for only 0.25 second only. So the high amperage hits the joint due to the contact resistance at the joint and melts it. The pressure on the joint actually is continuously maintained and the metal fuses together under this pressure. Now the heat generated in resistance welding is given by H is equal to K I square R into T, where H is the total heat generated in the work in joule. Okay, so it will be in joule. K is the constant to account for the heat losses from the welding joint. I is the current, ampere. R is the resistance in ohm. T is the time for which the electric current is passing through the joint in second. That are the thing very important. Now the resistance of the joint is a complex factor to know because it is composed of the resistance of the electrodes, the contact resistance between the electrode and the workpiece, the contact resistance between the two workpiece plates, and the resistance of the workpiece plates. So the amount of heat released is directly proportional to the resistance. It is likely to be released at all of the above mentioned points, but the only place where large amount of heat is to be generated to have an effective fusion is at the interface between the two workpiece plates, this one. Therefore, the rest of the component resistances should be made as small as possible, since the heat released at these places would not aid in the welding. So you have to remember one thing I am telling again, that is a low voltage and high current. Low voltage means 1 volt, high current means around 15,000 ampere. That you have to remember. So in short, resistance welding process where workpieces are welded due to combination of pressure applied to them and a localized heat generated by a high current flowing through the contact area of the weld. So here you will find this weld nugget. There is also another one widely used is known as the resistance spot welding as well. There is also resistance seam welding. There is also projection welding as well. Okay. In resistance spot welding, we are using a small nugget, this type of nuggets, to join a two sheet metal jobs. Okay, so that is also very much well known process, resistance process. Okay, so here is the diagram, typical diagram. You can take a screenshot. This is a very important diagram for your end semester examinations as well. So here are the two conducting electrodes, generally made of copper, actually two tips, copper tips, which can easily conduct the current. Here is the transformer, here is the timer IC supply, here is the weld bit, and this is the workpiece. So in resistance welding, I must tell you some advantages of the resistance welding. Look, very little skill is required, and to operate this particular resistance welding process. Mostly the machines are semi-automatic or automatic, and hence properly set for a particular operation. Anyone with a little training would be able to operate the machine. These are very well suited for mass production actually, so they give a high production rate. So there are no consumable used in this process except for the electrical power and a relatively smaller electrode wear. As a result, it is very economical process, this resistance welding process. And heating of the workpiece is confined to a very small part, which results in less distortion as well. So it is possible to weld dissimilar metals as well as metal plates of different thickness as well. It has also got some of the this disadvantages as well. So coming to the disadvantage, I must tell you that this resistance welding machine is highly complex with various elements such as the heavy transformer, electrodes, and heavy conductors for carrying the high currents. So the electrode force applying mechanism such as pneumatic cylinder and its supply, the heavy machine structure to support the large force, and an expensive timing arrangement also. All this make the resistance welding machine highly expensive unless it is used for large scale production. Now certain resistance welding processes are limited only to lap joints also. This is the lap joint. So this limits its use to sheet metal whose thickness is less than 3 mm. So 3 mm is the limitation. So the lap joints having an inherent crevice between the sheets, which is responsible for stress concentration and a loss of fatigue life. Also for materials that are prone to corrosion, the lap joint may be a source of very trouble. Okay. Now I already mentioned you that this resistance welding has got some other processes also, that is a resistance spot welding, resistance seam welding, projection welding, offset welding, flash welding. So they are the classifications that are widely being used under the heading of this particular resistance welding process as well. So we think we have gone enough for this solid state welding processes. We have discussed today the diffusion welding process and this resistance welding process as well. So hope you have enjoyed today's session, and we have completed this module, and from the next one in the later classes we will be moving towards our next this